All right, staying focused and the lack thereof, and being overwhelmed, that is the primary tool of the beast, ladies and gentlemen. If the beast is going to get in your way and really take you off kilter and get you off the path that you were meant to be on, the number one tool the beast has is to keep you busy, to keep you where you're living day to day. You're just trying to get to the weekend. Listen, hump day, which, for Wednesdays, or thank God it's Friday. Who do you think created those sayings? Those are people who are overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed. Most people are. And the beast wants to keep you busy doing nothing, keeping you busy doing the wrong things. How many times have you ever been really busy all day? I mean, you've just been running ragged all day long. You're exhausted. I mean, you had no time for lunch even. You just had all these things you're trying to accomplish, all the things you're trying to get done. And when you actually look back and think about what you accomplished that day, you really didn't get anything done, nothing meaningful. You were busy, but busy doing what? And so one of the skills that I had to develop, and I highly recommend you, and I talk about in the book, there's so many different resources now that I'm making available to folks. And I've got one I'll be sharing with you here on the outro. But the main thing is that one of the things that I had to do is I had to put a boundary around how I focused on my days. And I learned this from several mentors of mine throughout the years. I've read several books on this, and you've seen different iterations of this, whether it be Franklin Covey or Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner, or my own the Day Planner. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways in which you can manage your priorities and the way you look at it. But the bottom line is you just got to do it. And so I think it's really important that each day we just get in the habit of carving out our big three, the three things that are most important to us. This is something that I just habitually do now every single day. I've been doing it now, I'd say, for the last 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5 years. And it's not easy. It is hard because I know you got 1,000 things you want to do. However, you can identify, if you did nothing else, what if I could get these three things done? Now, here's the thing. Sometimes it's less than three. Sometimes there are things I got a day set up where I only have one thing I can get done that day. Like, for instance, when I'm speaking, if I'm doing a workshop, if I'm going to do a workshop, like an 8-hour workshop for an organization, that's the only thing I plan to get done that day. I don't plan to get anything else done that day, but it can't be more than three. And so when you start your day, you want to wake up and you just want to think about what is going on for that day. What is it that you ultimately need to get done? Because this is the only time you're going to have that day. This specific time, that's what you have. That is the gift you have. You can't guarantee the future. You can't hold on to the past. You got the gift of the present, what you have in your hands right now, the present time. So if you think about what it is that's going to move the needle for you to live that life of significance in all facets of your life, not just work, not just personal, not just family or community. I'm talking about the whole entire day. What is the number one thing? If you cannot do anything else that day, get anything else accomplished, what is it that you want to get accomplished that day? And write that down. Then think about, well, what's the second most important thing? What is it that if I get number one done, then it'd be nice if I can get number two done, and write that down. And then write down the third thing. If you can get that thing down, if you can get that done, that would be great. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a list of 10, 15, 20, even 1,000 things. I'm not saying you can't have that. For those of you that like to keep lists and everything, I'm saying that's fine. But what I'm saying is that you got to say, okay, out of all these things, what are three things I got to get done? I have to get done. Now, listen, I want to tell you what's going to happen when you start going down this path. You start putting boundaries. It's going to get messy, folks, which is okay because your life is a mess anyway. When you start really focusing in on, I want to get these things done, I'm going to focus, then there's going to be some things that you're going to let go. You're going to drop the ball in some areas. And can I tell you something? You probably need to drop the balls in those areas. It's what you're way overdue. You're trying to keep all these things going. You're trying to manage all these things. You're trying to be so much to so many people that you're nothing to everybody, right? And so you've got to learn to focus. And over time, what's going to happen is you're going to adapt. One of the fascinating things I've learned about humanity is that we are very good at adapting. We are highly adaptable beings if we just give ourselves the chance. And so if you start to put this boundary that you're going to focus on your big three, that is going to be the thing you're going to do, then what's going to happen is over time, your mentality is going to shift. The way you look at things, your paradigm is going to shift, and you're going to learn to adapt to focusing on your big three. And you're going to find you're going to actually get more things done. Because here's what I've learned. Once you start focusing on the things that are most important in every facet of your life, it gives you energy. It's life-giving. It gets you excited and motivated to do other things. You see, what happens is when you're busy just trying to do a lot of stuff, it drains you. You lose the energy and you lose the motivation and the inspiration to do the things that are important to you. But when you start to have clarity and focusing on the big three, like these three things I got to get done, then you start making it happen and you start getting energy and start getting motivated. And you find this energy you didn't know you had. And like, man, I want to get this next thing done. I want to get this other thing done. And before you know, you got 7 or 8 things knocked out and you still got the rest of the day. Now, here's the thing. It's life on planet Earth, folks. There's going to be other days where you're going to get knocked on your butt. And all the things you want to get done that day, none of it happens. Because guess what? All the best plans sometimes are laid to waste when life happens. You may have had this beautiful plan, these 3 things you want to get done. Then you get a disturbing phone call that a loved one that you're very close to is got a health issue, or they've got a situation that has to be addressed. I can tell you how many times this has happened to me, and I had a plan set up and one of my kids called and, Dad, my tire's flat, or my car won't start, or I was in a car wreck or something like that. And my whole days, or at least my whole morning's now been shot because I got to take care of that. That's okay, because now that becomes one of my big 3 is take care of that situation. So it's okay if you get to nothing done, including your big 3. Life just happens that way. Or it's okay if you had the 3 things carved out, but you only got to the first one. That's fine, because at least you got to the number 1 thing. The main thing is I want you to get used to, I want you to get focused in on focusing on the big 3. Listen, I do it even today. Today is, as I do this recording, I have on Friday, there are 4 things I put down, and I actually didn't get one of them done because the one of them was actually an appointment and it got canceled, but that's okay, because the other 2 things I did get done. And the 4th thing that I had, if I got the other 3 things done, I got that done because my number 3 thing was canceled. So I was able to move that other one up. So I do this myself. I do it on a regular basis. And I got to tell you, it's made all the difference. So it's something I highly recommend you think about. It's something that it's going to be hugely important. Number 1, if you're going to tame the beast, and number 2, if you're going to live a life of significance. What I've learned is the people that have the biggest impact in the world are the people that have tremendous clarity on the things that they need to focus on. And if you can have that clarity and you have the courage to focus on the 3 most important things and do that on a daily basis, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. And it's the first step to tame the beast. You've got to consider focusing on your big 3. It's huge.